And our last, but certainly not least, panelist is Anna Sun from the University of Florida. Let's give her a round of applause. Anna Sun is a sophomore at the University of Florida studying political science and Chinese.
Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Anna Sun. As Anthony mentioned, I go to the University of Florida. And my question today for all of you is, what does diversity mean to you? Just take a second and think. Because last night we were at the awards dinner, and they said the minority organizations in the community value was the multicultural aspect. And this is what we've been talking about, all day. And the whole conference. It was, we have to inspire everyone within our Asian American, the APIA community. We've been doing that. However, there's more to our community. We have other communities to work with, and that's something that we need to focus. I agree with everything that my fellow contestants and winners talked about, and I feel that we can all combine our ideas together. My idea, if I was president of AAFF, would be to create an annual leaders conference for young leaders in our community, and in addition to our council, because our council are leaders that will create projects, but this conference would be to guide young leaders from all over and come and talk about topics that hit us the most. These are controversial topics sometimes that people won't even, be, brave enough to mention. And with this conference, or this summit, we can invite all the organizations and businesses and the faith-based organizations part of AAFF and allow them to host and maybe a segment talking about their own issues, what they think is important, or what they want the youth to bring back. Also, this is inspired by, I've attended a few workshops at UF, and I've attended conferences since I was in middle school, and this was inspired by the conference that mainly impacted me the most. It was actually a retreat, and it was called Gatorship. I don't know if all of you know who went to UF, but Gatorship the tagline is called Building an Inclusive Community, One Gator at a Time. And in this conference, we talked about multicultural diversity and worldwide issues. And also, we even talked about immigration, like you had mentioned. You said that immigration was not mentioned a lot. And that was definitely, we talked about the DREAM Act, and we asked people how they felt. And during this conference, we all sat on the floor in the circle, and everyone, they took their own piece. Everyone had their own opinion, but everybody listened. And I thought that was really precious and definitely the most unique experience. The topics that we talked about were leadership, of course, because it was a leadership conference, and stereotypes and privilege, how other people are more privileged than us, and gender, race, ethnicity, which we're all here today for, religion, spirituality, socioeconomic status, LGBTQ, disabilities, and media. Oh, it's not focused? Is it? Okay. Okay. There are so many activities that just struck me, and it was just mind-blowing. And someone next to me had a different background than me, even if they're Asian. They grew up, some people grew up with less than I had, and it just really struck me. It's at these conferences that I really get to know who's around me, because before we work with each other, we have to understand each other, that where people are coming from. And I guess what I've come to today is talk about the social aspect of our community and get to build it. And then we ended up with personal action plans and talked about that and how we would carry on. And we all left with a different idea, attitude, and even an ally, a supporter of our cause. Everyone had a different cause. and how we would agree. We didn't just raise our hand and interrupt someone's conversation. We went like this. So we wouldn't interrupt someone's conversation. So when we were in a workshop and someone's talking, you don't want to interrupt them. We don't raise our hand. We go like this, so people know like we agree with them. And I thought that was really great. At the end, next topic is that there's always been a need for strong AAFF because I think that we always need a strong AAFF. In our community, we're so scattered. I live in Boca. That's Palm Beach County. I have to drive like south so I can, have a more clustered Asian community. We have Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It's all spread out, and I wasn't exposed to a lot of that, being separated and not together. And I feel that our next issue would be ensuring positive role models. I know the previous speakers talked about, instilling motivation, instilling mentorships, and having role models is very important. And it all starts out with parenting and, spending more time with children, or even like younger siblings, older siblings, and just instilling the mentorship. And one of the things I mentioned in my essay was that Asians are not seen as ideal leaders. It wasn't my opinion. I didn't write it. It was a University of California, Riverside study, and they basically polled the communities and the population, and they did not think that Asians were viewed as ideal leaders. I don't know. This is just, I just found some statistics over this year, and I think yes. Most of the time, even though we're the model minority, we're not seen as an ideal leader. That's why, yes, I agree, we need to have more CEOs. And carrying on, we're also, the next topic would be to encourage the youth. How are we going to encourage the youth then? Well, with this conference, or we're making more workshops and leadership conferences with youth, we can create and involve the youth to go and set out more role models. With this, how do we encourage them? We have to have AAFF speak at schools, communities, bring in speakers, and then even make a mentor program in the AAFF. I know AAFF is growing, so we have youth council now, as of today. We can build more. We can build a mentorship program. There's so many things. How many businesses are involved? So many businesses. If I could have a mentor relationship with someone from whatever business or whatever organization, that would be just valuable to my whole life and impact my motivation. With that, I think that's, like, for instance, what if you have a parent that's not, available? Who are you going to lean on? There's so many parents that are out working, and you don't get that time to, to learn from them. So therefore, we can also have a mentorship program to touch on that, to build on the youth. Last but not least, I leave you with education. That's the main issue. We can't go on and go forth when we're not educating. That's the most important topic, is educating. We have to learn and understand from each other before we can even be strong. And furthermore, our goal is to work with other communities. I think that's the most important thing. We have to go outside to the non-Asian communities and work along with them. Education leads to action. Once you're educated, you're motivated to go and act. I know a lot of my speech or my part of our presentation was it was very hypothetical, it was theoretical. There was so many things like, oh, we can do this. There's so many social things. But my video was talking about, I actually found it last night. It was, if you go on, if you remember, it's called Pink Dot, and it's from Singapore. I stumbled across it. It was the freedom to love. And I was very surprised that it was actually the first Asian video or advertisement that I saw for the LGBTQ community. I was very proud of what they did. And it was basically talking about parents and what they felt about their children who were. And I think that's very valuable to bring out to the community. And I think that I hope that everybody can just look more around them and see what everybody's going through in their backgrounds.
As always, we do have two pre-selected questions for your essay that you submitted. The first one is, you mentioned the conference that you attended at the University of Florida, Gatorshed, that to an outsider, in your essay you said this, to an outsider, the whole idea of this conference may have seemed like a brainwashing retreat, but it was not at all. We had taken away something, whether it was a different idea, attitude, or ally. Can you tell us what you meant by this?
Well, the whole thing was, I said that it may have been brainwashing because if you didn't go to a conference, you'd be like, oh, they're probably just, it's probably a cult or something, wanting everyone to believe one certain way. But it's not. It's just opening your eyes and letting people know, letting you see what other people are going through. Like, I didn't know that somebody had a disability, and I just met them. They went through a learning disability. And to me, that just strikes me at the end of the day, saying, I have it really good. Like, I can do so much more. Like, why am I not putting my plan into action? And the point of the conference was to just let people open their eyes. And I thought that the reason why it was brainwashing to some or to people, or people didn't understand it. I go to my friends and be like, oh my gosh, this was like really great, I learned so much. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, they don't really listen, but because they're not there. And I feel that given this small environment, having 60 other people and going to a conference with them is just, and spending like 2-3 days with them is just like empowering. It's just, you learn so much, you feel like you're friends with them now, and from that you can work together, combine organizations, help each other on projects. That's very valuable.
And the final question is, again, in your essay, you mentioned tiger moms and panda dads. Would you please explain what you meant by that and how the Federation could take that into account?
Okay, sorry. In my essay, I didn't mention my presentation. I want to cut it short and talk more, but tiger moms and panda dads. I know most of you may have heard, Amy Chua, she wrote a novel, and it said that why Chinese mothers are superior. And I know not all, Asian mothers, APIA mothers, whether it be Pacific, Islander, American, our parents really want us to succeed, and at the end of the day, they may be that tiger mom, you may be that tiger mom or tiger dad, and I feel that whether or not you are, it doesn't matter. You need to communicate. I know it's like a passive, kind of aggressive way of parenting, which we all appreciate by the end of our lives, whether it not be today or tomorrow. I feel that we need to communicate, and we need to work things out. And I think that from that we can build from that issue, and which goes back to the role model thing. Build on that issue and really talk your kids out, or maybe as young leaders, we should actually talk to our parents and actually look past the whole, the strict parenting.
Thank you so much, Anna. It's really wonderful. And on behalf of the Federation and President Brucey, I would also like to present you with the Certificate of Appreciation for your strategic plan for the Federation. Congratulations.
Thank you.